Hi everyone, welcome to Javaras. In this video, we will create an Angular application and we will serve that application using Spring Boot backend. So serving the single page application using a backend server is very useful and it is considered a more secure design when we add authentication and authorization to our applications. So first of all, let's create a Spring Boot application using Spring Initializer website. Here I want to use Maven as build system. So I will click on Maven. Language I want to use Java. So I will select 3.1.0 as Spring Boot version. Now group, let's say dev.javaras and artifact I will give Spring Angular frontend server and the name of the application will be Spring Angular frontend server. Can put space here. Description we can give as Spring Boot frontend server to serve Angular single page application, which is called SPA in short. And this will be the package name. Packaging is jar and Java version is 17. So I will click on generate again. So it has downloaded. Now I can say MV download Spring this here. Okay, now I will unzip it. Then we can delete this zip file. Okay, it is RM. Now we have this folder here. Now let's open this folder inside an IDE. I will open IDEA. On one, this one, click on open. Trust project. So when we open it inside IDE, the IDE will start downloading the dependencies from Maven. So it has downloaded everything. Let's go to source main Java. So this is the starting point of the application. Now let's try to run it. If everything is working fine, we'll run it. Okay. So it said started Spring Angular front-end service server application and it's running on port 8080. So I will go to Chrome. Yeah, inside Chrome, let's go to localhost 8080. And we can see this page. That means our server is working. But since we have defined no endpoint, that's why we are getting this error. That's fine. Okay. So now we want to create an Angular application and serve that application from this server. The basic principle is that so whatever is inside this target classes and static folder of the uh, Angular app that is served as part of the application. So for example, in the classes, if I create a new folder directory called static, and here I will create a new file. Let's call it index.html and here demo, and let's say h1, and I will save it. Now this file will be this is the default file which is served as part of Spring Server. So if I refresh the page, or I think we need to restart the application. Okay, yeah. So you can see we have hello world here. So now our objective is to create an Angular application, and we want to put the build output of Angular app into this static directory. But we also want to streamline this process. That means whenever we send our code to someone else, they should be able to run that Angular application. For that, we need to maintain our Angular code inside this project only. So we cannot create Angular code somewhere else, then build that project, and then copy the output of that build into this static folder. We cannot do that because we want to uh, modify that code as part of this project only. That means these are not separate projects. This is Spring Boot and that Angular should be in the same code base. So for that, we will use a plugin which is called Maven Frontend plugin. So that plugin is very useful plugin, not only for single page applications, but also like if you want to do anything with Node and npm inside a Spring Boot project or inside a Maven project. So let's look at that plugin. So this is the front-end Maven plugin. So if you read, this plugin download installs Node and npm locally for your project, runs npm install, and then any combination of these. Supposed to work in Windows, OS X, and Linux. So this is a very useful plugin. Now let's see how to use this plugin. So first of all, we need to include this plugin in our pom.xml file. I'll copy this code. Not only this code, we need only this plugin. Go to pom.xml, and here I will add this another plugin. Remove this. Now version, I will add latest version here, and the current latest version is 1.9.1. 1.9.1. This is the version. So that's how we add this plugin. Now let's refresh the Maven. We need to put it inside plugins. Inside plugins, yeah, there. Now, what is the error? Okay, we just want to run it. So let's go to Maven, refresh. I was getting error in this plugin. So I clicked on here, Maven, then Spring Angular frontend server, plugins clean and clean. So I ran this command and the error is gone. So it has successfully downloaded this plugin. Now for this plugin to work, since this plugin basically downloads Node and npm, so we need to tell which version of Node to use. So for that, after version, we need to add configuration, and the configuration in Node version. And let's add the latest version. So you can go to nodejs.org and you can see the current LTS version, which is currently it's 18.16.0. I can say version 18.16.0. After adding configuration, now we need to tell this plugin to download node and npm. For that, we write executions. So executions. Now we will have many executions. One for installing node and npm, another for installing Angular CLI, then another for installing all the dependencies of client app, then another for building the Angular app and like something like that. So now first let's create first execution, which is install node and npm. So execution. Now it will take ID install node and npm. Now I will specify one goal here. So goals and goal. So goal will actually tell what should happen. So there is already some goals defined in this plugin. So first is install node and npm. So what this goal does is it downloads node and npm from the web. And which version will it download? It will download this version of node, version 18.16.0. Okay. So let's go to terminal and run this command mbnw generate resources. As you can see, it started this execution install node and npm. So it will download the node and npm from the web. Node has been downloaded successfully. As you can see here, installed node locally. If we do ls now, you can see there is a folder called node. So if I do like npm v, so this npm is not coming from this node. This is coming from the this global node. So if we say node v here, so you can see the version is 19.8.1, but we have installed the node version 18.16.0, because this 19.8.1 is the global node which is installed on my laptop, not the this node. So um, to run the npm which is installed with this node, we need to create a script. So let's create a new file in here. So in the root, create a new file and call it npm. So we created this script. So whenever we execute this npm, so it will run the npm from this direct. So let's try that out. So now I will say npm v. Now we get this permission denied error. So I can say chmod +x npm. So now npm is executable. Can run this command now. So dot npm v unknown command /npm. I guess it should be dollar at the rate here. Dollar at the rate. Dollar at the rate means all the arguments. $0 means first command, which is this, which was always dot npm. So it should have been dollar at the rate. Now let's say npm v. So you can see the version of npm is 9.5.1. What is the global is 9.6.5, but this npm has version 9.1, 9.5.1. npm. Okay. So that means we are using the local npm which we have installed using Maven frontend plugin. Now to build Angular application, we need to install Angular CLI. So to learn more about Angular CLI, and go here. .io lie somewhere. Getting started. Setup. prerequisite installed. Yeah, this here Angular CLI. So to install Angular CLI, we use this command npm install g Angular CLI. But we don't want to install it globally, so we can just say npm install @angular then CLI. So let's go here, and since we want to use the npm which is installed locally in this project, we use /npm install Angular CLI. Now this will download the Angular CLI. So it has downloaded the Angular CLI. For ng as well, we need to create a script which will use the uh, ng which is installed locally. So for that, I will create another file. Or let's just I will copy this npm file cp npm ng. So we have this ng file, and now its content will be a little different. Instead, let's try ng version. So it for the first time it will ask something. I will say no. Completion no. Angular CLI, and the Angular CLI version is 16.0.4. The node version is 18.16.0 and npm version is 9.5.1. And these all matches our versions. So that means we have successfully installed Angular CLI. Now we will create a new Angular project using Angular CLI, and you can see creating a new app ng new my app. I'll use the same command /ng because we want to use the local ng. That's why we are using /ng new, and I will give the app name as client. So I will do that, and Angular routing I will say no for now. CSS. Okay, it will create these files inside client directory, and it will install some npm packages. So it will take some time. As you can see, Angular CLI has created these files and downloaded some npm packages. And don't worry about this error because this is coming due to some git configuration. So you can ignore that. But if we do ls, we can see we have client directory here. Let's see what's inside client. So inside client, you can see we have readme.md file, angular.json, package.json, package log.json. So these all files are created using Angular CLI. We have node modules folder where it install all the npm packages, and we have src folder where we'll write source code for Angular app. We can build our Angular app. So if we go to the client directory, and if we see what's inside package.json, so you can see in there is a script called build, which is which calls ng build command, and it will just build the Angular app. So if we run that command npm build, we can run that. But now this npm is the global npm, but we don't want to use that. So for that, here also we will create npm and ng two scripts, just as we created in the its parent directory. So let's copy those scripts. So I will cp npm ng and put them here. So now here we have one npm and ng two scripts. Now we need to modify these two scripts. So I will first go to npm here. The node is not in the current directory, it's in its parent directory. So since node is in parent directory, so I will put dot dot slash here, and here as well we need to put dot dot and then slash. So it will go to its parent directory and run the node CLI node and npm CLI from there. Now similarly, let's go to ng and modify there as well. So here also the node is in parent directory and node modules is also in parent directory. That is done. Now we can use npm and ng as we did in the parent directory. Let's go here and let's say npm build. It should be npm run build. Npm run build. So you can see npm run build calls ng build only because we have defined it inside package.json scripts here. So it's generating some contents. Okay. So now if you see ls, you can see there is another folder called dist, and this is the default location for Angular to build the app. So if you go, we can see in the dist we have this index.html and many other files. But this won't work in our case because we want the build to be in this directory called target, then classes, then static. So let's go to angular.json, and here in architect build options and output path. So this is the output path. So you can see current output path is dist client. That's why the output files were placed in client directory inside dist. But now we want to put them in target slash classes slash static folder in its parent. So first go to parent, then target, then classes, then static. Let's save it. Now remove the dist directory. You don't need that. And run the npm run build command again. Now it will again generate application bundles, and now it will put them in this target folder. You can see target classes static, and here it is. So now if I go to demo, here localhost 8080 and refresh it, you can see our Angular app is working. We want to add few more things, like one is ESLint. So for that, go to ESLint website. And here you can see we can install and configure ESLint using this command. So npm init ESLint config. What it will do is it will install this package, and then it will ask us some questions, and with the answers of that questions it will configure the ESLint. Yeah, now it has installed ESLint config package, and it asks some questions. How would you like to use ESLint? Now I want to check syntax, find problems, and enforce code style, everything. So I will select the third one and press enter. What type of module does your project use? Since we are using Angular and it use import export. So I will select first one, JavaScript modules. Then which framework does your project use? We are not using React or Vue.js, so I will click on none of these. Does your project use TypeScript? Yes, it does. So I will select yes using right arrow key and press enter. Where does your code run? Since Angular runs in browser, so I will select browser, press enter. Now, how would you like to define a style for your projects? So I will select use a popular style guide. And I want to use standard style guide. And what format do you want your config file to be in? So you can select anything JavaScript, YAML or JSON. Let's select JSON. Now, yeah, we want to install them now. So I will select yes, click enter, and we are using npm. So it will install these packages. npm has downloaded all the packages. Now I will add one more package which is called ts standard. So that's what ts standard, or go here JavaScript standard style, search for ts standard. So you can see ts standard is the officially supported variant of TypeScript. ts standard supports all the same rules and options as standard and include additional TypeScript specific rules. So just we just need to install this ts standard as a dev dependency. So let's do that. npm install ts standard as dev dependency. So it has been installed. Now let's go to package.json, and to run this dependency I will create a script which is standard ts, and it will be just an standard ts standard. So if I go to terminal, say npm run standard ts, so it will run ts standard command, and it will try to find any errors or problems with our code. So you can see it found many problems with our code. Now we can fix some problems with this command, ts standard fix. So I will copy this command and I will create another script, standard ts fix. And what it will do is it will run this command. That means npm run standard ts, and it will pass this argument fix to this command. If I save it and run it again, or before that I want to add this standard ts to test as well, so that whenever we want to test Angular app, we not only test its functionality but we also test whether the source code is written according to the correct patterns or not. There should not be any syntax error or anything. So we add this. So I will say npm, or just say ts standard and ng test. Here also we can just say this ts standard fix. Save it. Now let's run the test, npm test. So you can see first it is started ts standard. So when we did, yes, ts standard, but ts standard gave some errors. So now let's run this command npm run standard ts fix. So it will try to fix all these errors. Okay. So now again let's run the test. So you can see it has started generating browser application bundles. That means TS standard is passing. But I will just press Control C. I don't want to do testing here. So that is it. So that's how we can create Angular project while uh, having the good code. That means there should not be any syntax error, or and it should follow the standard guidelines to write TypeScript code. So it will do all of that. One last thing remaining is that in the pom.xml file we need to put some more executions. That means there we need to put one execution to install the Angular CLI. If you remember, we installed the Angular CLI from terminal, but we can't do that whenever we deploy our app. So we need the ability to install Angular CLI whenever we send this code to someone else. They should be able to install everything with just running Maven. So let's put that there. So I will go to IDE, IntelliJ IDEA, and then in the pom.xml file, let's create another execution. So this execution I will give ID as. So first we have installed Node and npm. Now we need to install Angular CLI. Install Angular CLI. Now if you see in this directory, we have a file called package.json. So if we always want the same version of Angular CLI, then we can remove this caret symbol from here and then save it. So the if we do npm install, it will install everything from this package.json file. That means this Angular CLI. So here in the goals, I will put a goal here, and the goal will do it is just npm. So npm and install is an argument. So in the configuration arguments, there will be one argument called install. So it will install everything from this package.json. Now Angular CLI will be installed. Now after that we need to install all the dependencies of client app. For that as well, let's copy this same execution, put it here. Now ID I will say install dependencies for client app, and then it will be install dot slash client. So it will install those dependencies in client app. Now the last execution is to building the Angular app. So let's say execution. I will give build Angular application, then calls npm. We need to run npm command, and the arguments will be specified in configuration arguments. I will say, since we need to build it in client uh, folder, we will say prefix client. So that means it will go to client folder and then run a script and build. So it will do npm build inside this client directory. So that's it. So let's save it. Okay. Now let's test it. So I will clear it. Let's see. So for now, let's remove everything. Remove node modules. So apart from that, everything is everything is use everything is important for source code. So and let's go to parent, and here as well. Let's remove node and node modules. So we have removed everything from both the directories, and let's yes stop the server. Okay. Now let's run the Spring Boot application. So I will just say mw Spring Boot run. So it will do everything. So it will first install node and npm, and then it will install Angular CLI. Then it will install dependencies for client app, and after that it will build the Angular application. We have a build failure, which is release version 17 not supported. Why is that? We are getting some error in Spring Boot run. So let's try this. Solo generate resources. Let's remove this from here again. Okay, so build success. Now we can go here and we can run this application. Let's run it in debug mode. Now we get this error, could not find the main class. Let's debug it. We'll go to Maven and then clean. So Maven lifecycle clean. So I will run Maven clean and then I will debug that again. Okay, so now the server has started on port 8080. So I will go there, port 8080, refresh it. So it's showing white label error page here. So why is that target classes? Okay, so there are nothing in here. So yeah, so while in the development we don't want to start the Spring Boot server again and again just to see the JavaScript changes in the browser. So what we can do, we can go to client and we can run this command npm run watch. So what it will do is it will build the Angular application, and then whenever it detects any changes in the file system of the corresponding source code, then it will rebuild the Angular project. So you can go here. If you refresh it, it's not working. But why is it not working? The target class is static. We have index.html. So let's refresh it once. It did not pick up the changes. Okay, so now if I refresh it, so we can see this. Now let's go to our VS Code, and in the app.component.ts, change the title from client to, because we are saying client app is running. Now let's see here, uh, let's say UI, and save it. So when we save it, you can say it built the Angular app again. And if you go to browser and refresh it, it says UI app is running. So that's how we can do the work in development. Okay, now let's um, stop the server and stop it here as well. Now let's say how you can deploy this front end server. So for that, just say mvnw and package. We need to go to the this directory mvnw package. So what it will do, it will run all the commands. So it will install everything, install node and npm, it will install Angular CLI, it will install all packages, it will build the Angular app, and then it will create a package jar file, and we can run that jar, we can deploy that jar file anywhere. So let's give it some time. So it is giving some errors. Say clean package. See what is the Java version? Okay, maybe this may be the error, like Java version 11. So let's try to package it from inside the ID. If I click on package here, so it install dependency for client app, building the Angular application. Okay, then it is downloading some plugins. So maybe that might be the reason. Like in the terminal, if you see it's using Java version 11, but we have specified Java version 17 in the pom.xml. So that may be the reason. So you can see it has created a mm, jar file. So let's see. So ls target. You can see it has this jar file. Now let's remove jar file from here too, or let's copy dot jar from here to desktop. Now go to desktop, desktop. Okay. Now we can run that jar file here. I will say Java jar Spring linkage. Okay, because here Java version which we are using is 11. So I will pause recording for some time and configure terminal to use Java version 17 instead of 11, and then I will resume the recording. Now I have modified the configuration in my laptop, so it's now using Java version 17. I will say Java jar, then this the name of jar file. And you can see it has started the server. So let's go to the localhost 8080 and then rerun it. So it's working. So that's how we create a front end server for single page application. So here we are using Angular. You can use any other framework like React, Vue.js, anything in place of Angular. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video.